Welcome. Welcome to the Q&R Code, friends and family and first-time listeners. I'm Quinn.
And even foes. Oh.
And foes. You know, welcome you enemies the most. You're who we really depend on for, you know, talking. Getting the word out there.
I'm Riley, and my twin and I did arrive in a matching sort of fashion, yet again, unplanned, and that did remind me that there was a day on our trip in New York City that Quinn and I were basically going to wear the exact same outfit, and she was going to go be a guest artist in a studio, and I'm like, obviously that's laying it on pretty thick if we roll in as twins actually matching, not looking similar. Like this, we look similar, but no, it was a full-on like the same shirt, same outfit, and I just would like to put an end right now to the twin ridicule and being like, oh my gosh, can you imagine matching in adulthood? Yeah, I can, because sometimes your vibes are just so lined up, so in sync that it's like, well, what am I supposed to do? And that was the outfit that was calling to my little heart today, and it's the outfit that's calling to your little heart today. Do we have to be phony for the world and pretend like, fine, I'll change my outfit to appease the haters?
Yeah, Riley and I briefly mentioned on a few episodes ago that we have seen a couple of twin hatery vibes on Instagram recently, and yeah, about adult matching and about, oh, it's one thing when to be twins as kids, cute. To be twins as adults, weird. Okay, again, thank you to the foes for keeping the word twins in your mouth, because twins, SEO, Q&R code. But
yeah,
but
and these were for comedians, and I know you're making it in a jokestery way, but for real, it's a little bit sensitive, because if you tune in to when twins are brought up in media, it's like so frequently either they're villain, evil vibes, because it's like inherently creepy to be a twin, I guess, or they make it incestuous and also creepy, and it's like, this is just annoying because our relationship by far is the most like loving, pure-hearted, trusting, all of those great things out of any relationships I've had, and I'm like, where's that representation in media? They're like, when we need a creep, let's make them a twin.
Yeah. Or, I mean, there's, you know, the not me being so unfamiliar that I'm having a hard time remembering the name. What's the name of the one with Lindsay Lohan? The camp. Parent Trap. So, I don't know. It's crazy because you would think it being a redhead twin that we would have watched that many times. I think we only watched that like once-ish as kids. So I'm not even super familiar with the storyline or anything.
It would be fun if we watched The Parent Trap.
Yeah, we should. We should watch it because I am sure we would enjoy it, and even just it being on our radar with, I don't even know her name, but one of the people on Dancing with the Stars is an actress on The Parent Trap.
Elaine.
What is it?
It's Elaine.
Yeah, Elaine something. Anyway,
Elaine Hendricks.
How I feel about the twin, like you said, those are comedians trying to make a bit, but how I feel is either people don't genuinely feel that way and it's just for the bit, or people do not have the, maybe they would think it's rude, but don't have they don't really believe it, because when it comes to meeting us in person, all people ever do is celebrate our twinhood. So either say it with your chest, or you're just trying to profit off of twinhood by making a joke about it. So either way, once again, all press is good press. We're happy to have you say whatever you want about us twins. But it was funny because Riley and I are like, in a typical situation, we would wear the exact same clothes and feel totally fine about it, which I was like, I do feel fine, but I was just so nervous about my guest spot. It was my first true, like, real guest spot going in, and I was just having a lot of anxiety. And I was like, part of me is like, yes, just have us 100% fully be ourselves, and if they don't like it, they can leave it. And then part of me was like, my twin and my mom are taking me to my first day of school, basically. Literally, my twin and my mom dropping me off at my guest spot and going to be come and visiting me. And maybe us wearing the exact same outfit is a little intense, which I don't want to dim my light for anyone else. But in that case, we did. I just ended up changing my outfit because I genuinely felt like changing my outfit and it wasn't feeling right. So we did not show up to my first day of school in the exact same outfit, but you know what? We just need to let ourselves be ourselves, because the most phony we ever feel is when we are not ourselves. So
Well,
you just got to do your
yes.
thing.
Do your thing, which to that tune, I guess I will let the pot in on some controversial news that I have began rolling out the Christmas decorations. Now, haters will say it's too early, and I invite you to not decorate your house until you're ready to do so. I am choosing to for multiple reasons. One, joy factor. Let's just like enjoy
Deck the halls.
the beautiful little objects that have been either collected over time. For me, mostly my collection is like gifted, and so it's special because it reminds you of certain situations, but also a lot passed down, that these are objects that my grandma had, some cases my great grandma, my mom, and so it's fun and special. Also, I am going to be leaving town and then returning in December, and so how nice is that to come home and you already have some of that Christmas cheer started. And yeah, that's just my update for as of late. Is I'm looking around right now and it's making me so happy, and it's all in the confines of my own home, so no neighbors have to be up in arms about early Christmas vibes, but we have a lot of Halloween still left on the block, and I'm not making it anyone's issue that I would prefer for the creepy baby blow up that's gory to be put back away for the holidays. To each their own, your yard, your choice.
Yeah. For a lot of holidays, don't have the feeling of once it's done, like you better get that put away immediately. But for Halloween, I feel like there's a week of grace, I feel, and then I am over it. I know a lot of people feel differently because a lot of people, I get it. Fall is a season that moves quickly, and so they really want to live in that. But I still think fall vibes, because then Thanksgiving is coming, and just, I'm all about the fall vibe. But I think Halloween can say goodbye after October 31st. But I really do think to each his own. I could see how from the outside looking in, even though based on my Instagram education, my understanding is that Halloween did not originate in the United States of America, which, how surprising is that? I think most good things don't come from us originally.
Okay, controversial.
But so my understanding is it started more as a pagan thing and then came to kind of Ireland. And so, but I will say from the outside looking into the United States of America, I would be looking at the blow-ups and the amount of, I feel that I could hurt feelings by saying this, but what I perceive as junky decorations might be a little bit much, because a lot of other countries are like, what is Americans' deal with Halloween? I think that Halloween, I was being honest with myself recently and being like, do I really how do I really feel about Halloween? I enjoy the fall season. I enjoy the night of Halloween in the sense of I think it's fun to be able to dress up, and especially the people who are creative, like we have talked about with the drag queens. Like, if you are making your outfit, like crafting, I love that. To me, we come from a place of privilege with this because we grew up having a very, very crafty, not even just crafty, but a seamstress of a mom who truly from scratch sewed and created all of our outfits. So we did not go to the store and pick out a Halloween outfit that was, like a character put together. We always made stuff from what we had or literally sewed it from scratch with just fabric. So I love that version the most. I totally understand that that is not doable for most people. Most people are not going to either have the time, knowledge, skill, equipment to do that. But in my perfect world, Halloween would be everyone creates their own outfit, even if it's not sewing, it's just piecing parts together from things you have or things you've thrifted or things you're borrowing from a friend. And then, the vibes of the apple cider, the vibes, hey, I can even get down with the candy for a few days. And just that, like, pumpkin, spooky fall. But I know that in my true heart, I am not a spooky season gal because the just so much stuff that's just like gory stuff thing. I think it's really above all else. It is all the manufactured plasticky, like, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's
that really bothers me. And that clearly then comes into Christmas time and stuff too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that I was going to say, for all holidays, they have not been safe from the capitalistic hellscape of which this country has so leaned into. And I think that, yeah, like you said, there's just parts that I can take and leave. And I think that Halloween, I feel like Valentine's Day catches a lot of flack for being like, it's just a corporate holiday to sell things. It's like, yeah, all holidays pretty much have become that, regardless of how it originated. And with Halloween, I was talking to someone that has kids about it, and they were saying how going to the store to get a costume now, they had such a hard time finding a kid's costume that wasn't by like some big corporation. You can be a Marvel character or a Disney character or a Pixar character, but they were like, where's just like pumpkin, ghost, like just generic, not tied to a corporation style costumes. And I think that's something that we just have gotten a little away from. And same with Christmas. When we're talking about Christmas, I'm also not doing like the options that would probably be available if I went into Home Goods or TJ Maxx today. I think that it's about like finding things over time that, in my preference, in my world, are made out of natural materials, are made by artisans. Like, I'm looking at some beautiful, something close to our heart, of course, is found like nature and using those to create something unexpected. Like, I have this such beautiful little corn husk angel that they somehow cut the corn husk so that it's like curled up in like a curly billowy skirt and things like that I don't know, it's hard to even have these discussions without feeling sometimes like elitist, because not everyone has access. But also, I don't know. At the same time, I'm like, I think that most people actually do have access to like slowly building things over time, but there's just that strong desire, the marketing, the pull to go to the store and just buy everything that you quote unquote need. It's like, oh, but I need this. And really, you could do minimal decorations with just some scavenged branches. As you know, Quinn and I love to do a little scavenge moment, make a little something with branches and a couple of candles that you already have on hand, and you don't need to have something that is like so strongly themed.
Yeah.
Long story short, I think that of course there are the Halloween vibes that I love. I love a reason for the season, something to decorate and bake treats for and whatnot. But of course, I'm just not really a horror girl. I'm not really a spooky bitch. I just haven't ever been one of those people that's like, yeah, like I can't wait to watch Nightmare Before Christmas every year. That's no shade.
Yeah.
I like that movie. I will watch it, but that's me. On the other hand, a lot of my spooky girlfriends I know are not like, oh, just can't wait to watch The Grinch. Like, different strokes for different folks, and that is not to yuck anyone else's yum. That's my truth.
Yeah, we just are more into the season of cheer. That, I don't know what to say, and I think a lot of my friends are into that as well, but I am very alone in not being so spooky because I'm a tattoo artist. And yes, that might be a generalization, but a lot of tattoo artists, I mean, that it should be no surprise, like thinking about the tattoo culture, are big into Halloween time. And it's fun because I like watching what they're up to, but in my true heart, it's not where my soul resides passion-wise. I am so passionate about like, handmade snowflakes and wreaths and the smell of pine trees. Like, all of that is so much more just aligned with my heart, you know?
But I do love that Halloween and spooky season is a place that I feel like a lot of people that have felt like freaks and weirdos and more like singled out and maybe like they don't fit in, and those things can have that like camaraderie with it, because a lot of people that I know that are more alt really like that is their time to shine. And so again, we love that. Moving on, because we have a lot to talk about today, since you guys, this is crazy. This catch-up is the first time that I am even speaking to Quinn since she got back from her Mulemanship clinic, and I have so many questions. I want to hear all about it, and we figured we'll just do the debrief call that we would have done anyway with you all as well, because Quinn learned a lot, has a lot to share, and I think I should just let you take it away, Quinn.
No, ask me a question.
Okay. First question, how many people and equine were there? Like, is it kind of a small class size and you get more one-on-one work? I just don't even know how to picture how does that run.
Yeah,
I've seen clinics, of course. Our grandpa is a horseman, and he loved to watch clips of clinics, and there are certain ones where it's like a rodeo grounds where people are filling bleachers, and some that's a little more private.
Yeah. So how Ty Evans is who I went to his clinic. He's a Mulemanship guy. So if you're like, what the heck word is she saying? So classically you would think of the word horsemanship, and it's basically your skill as a human in how you're handling and dealing with your animals. So he is big time into mules, but his clinics, he welcomes mules, horses, and donkeys, and they're all welcome. So we were in the right place with our horse and donkey, and did not have a mule, of course. So anyway, that is what they usually do. I think typically they do rent out like fairgrounds. So that's what we had, is we just had like a covered arena at a fairgrounds in New Mexico, rented out just for us. And there were 2 different clinics that he put on. So we went to the foundations, which is just a groundwork. Like, you're not in saddle, it's all groundwork. And then we audited the Mulemanship 1, which is his first like riding basics, but it's not riding lessons. It's not teaching you how to ride. So anyway, we don't need to get into those technicalities, but that is in saddle, and Sean and I watched from the bleachers for all of that, and I'm so glad we did because we got so much out of that too. It's not at all like, oh well, we weren't really in it so we didn't learn. Oh my gosh, Sean and I like taking our notes at the speed of light while he was talking. But he usually for the groundwork clinic, I think it's between, depending on the size of the arena, I think it's like 10 to 12 people. I think that's typically the case for actually like his clinics in general. And ours, a couple of people dropped out and weren't able to make it, so we ended up it just being 5 of us. So we definitely got more one-on-one attention than he's usually able to give with twice as many people. Bad for him, great for us, and we did take advantage. Like, I mean, what was so great with Ty is he so many times asked, are there any questions? What do you need help with? Like, what questions do you have? I like that he wasn't waiting for you to ask. I mean, he would obviously
interrupt or whatever.
No, but he's so many times throughout all 3 days. So it was 3 days of like the clinics going on 3 days in a row. And every day, multiple times during each clinic, he stopped what he was saying and paused and asked what questions we had. So it was great because I align with his style of teaching so well. I just really thought he was an all-star teacher. And you guys know how Riley and I feel about excellent teachers. And it just seriously made me light up because it felt like, oh, this is someone who I can ask anything and it doesn't feel off limits or out of bounds, and he will put effort into answering and you don't feel judged, and it just felt very supportive, and like he so much understood the why behind everything he was telling us to do. You know, everyone in life has been through teaching experiences where they ask why, and the teacher or whoever gives you an answer and it just does not make sense. Like, it doesn't even seem like they understand why. And he, with everything we were asking, it's like, oh, he genuinely understands why and can explain it really well.
That's a gift, is being able to explain, because there are plenty of times where you feel like you understand a concept, but then when it comes to explaining it, you realize either I don't understand as strongly as I thought I did, or like I need to take some time to figure out how to put it.
Yeah. So he's just clearly put so much time into his program that he teaches and is very, very with it. And I'm like singing his praises, and I said it to him. I'm like, I'm not even trying to blow smoke because I maybe am coming a little strong complimenting you, but for me, what you all know if you've been listening to the Q&R Code for a while is that I have been so just on a journey with my horsemanship with Ghost, specifically my 8-year-old Mustang, and have just had such ups and downs, and so many downs that just felt like I was lost with what is my next step. Like, I don't know where to go from here. How can I improve our relationship, and how can I, like, where do I go for training? I have just done so much. Sorry, I'm peeking out the window to check on my dog. Okay, all is well. It's incredible that the world is our oyster with the internet in terms of access to information and education. Like, that's very special, and it can also feel like, whoa, where do I go? Which thing do I pick? What do I listen to? And I've really
Who do I trust?
Yeah. I've struggled with that, definitely finding, like, I am proud of myself because I have gained a lot from all of the time and research I've done, but then there's stuff that still I just haven't felt like, okay, I feel so confident with this method or this, like, these steps for myself to take. It's been so much like me just trying to basically, it's like quilt work, being like, okay, I'll put this in here, I'll put this in here. And I think that's great because that's what I felt like I could do, and I acted on that stuff. So I'm proud of that, but this feels so empowering, and I just feel such a sense of relief and excitement for what's ahead, because it's like, oh my gosh, this is actually literally a checklist. Like, he has a checklist in his training that makes so much sense to me. That's like, oh, I can actually, my questions are answered, and I have a strategy of how I'm going to approach this, and something that feels like it can take me very far. So it's so exciting.
Did he actually like hand you physical like paper resources as well, or
no,
this is all your notes? And
that's all our notes, and every single day, multiple times a day, but every single day that we had our clinic, we went over seriously 5 times what the checklist is. Like, he would start at one person and say, okay, what's number 1? And if they didn't get it again, I like it because he's funny and a little bit of a jokester, but he's not really a big teaser or like puts you on the spot in a way that makes you feel bad. If you don't get it, he just says it, he just fills it in. And then each person, number 1 is clear the front in the groundwork checklist. So clear the front is asking, they're basically what this whole clinic for us was about, is learning how to control each foot of the horse, learning how to make each foot move and connect with each foot, and then also teaching the significance to the equine of a leading rein. Like, what does a lead rope mean to you? What does reins on your neck mean to you? So, clear the front is asking them to move their front leading foot and basically get them to line up on a circle. But each time, so we would go over the checklist, and he would go to 1, and then he would go to 2 and go back to 1, and then go 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. So each time it's like you're hearing it so many times, which I appreciate so much. And so many teachers, in my opinion, kind of fail at that. There's not enough of the redundancy repetition. Repetition. Hear it again, hear it again. Like, I think sometimes people, they get so comfortable. Obviously, he knows it like the back of his hand. He could say it when he's sleep talking, but he did such a good job of the awareness of, like, these people. This is a first for so many of these people hearing these things. I'm going to say it 25 times over the few days that they're here. And then I liked it. I had thought about, like, oh, he could, give a printout or something like that, but clearly he also treats you like an adult, where it's like, you need to be responsible for your education. Like, if you went up to him after class with a notebook and you said, can you run me through this one more time, he 100% would. But he encourages you to take notes. He encourages you to audit the other class as well, and that's free. If you sign up for one clinic, any of the clinics he's doing that week, you can go audit for free.
That's cool.
And so it's not at all, it doesn't feel like this, like, oh my gosh, he's trying to keep this info. No, he just, at the end of the day, there's a certain onus on the participant for their education too.
Yeah, 100%. Like you said, it's a class for adults, and also he is doing so many at a time. I can see why he doesn't have any of those materials that often when you give people, I mean, this is besides the point about the printout, but anyway, often you give someone something and they don't keep it or hold on to it anyway, but
or engage, then it's just kind of like, okay, I have it, so I have this. Yeah. I don't need to try as hard.
Well, I think that's so great that you did that, and as you know, I have been, like, craving also to learn more about just foundations with equine, because when, of course, they're less in my life right now, but I'm looking towards the future of that being more so. And when we were kids learning how to ride, I feel like for a kid, or at least what went on in our household, which it's so different from house to house, maybe some kids, they really did just have an awesome, like, cowpoke parents that started from the ground up. But for us, I feel like we were much more focused on our time in the saddle, and our grandpa would do groundwork, and we would groom our horses and like tack them before and after, but it was more your desire and your focus is, oh, I want to run, I want to like go on a trail ride. You're thinking about it from the perspective of it's fun to ride a horse instead of like how thinking it, I feel like, a total system. Like I definitely was not riding enough either to get to the point where I was like understanding leads and even what to be looking for or any of that. And when I see education on Reels or the internet, I'm often like, I need to actually start from a beginner place, because I can never identify, like when they're at how they'll do those quizzes that will be like, which foot is lame or something like that. It's always so hard, and that's just not knowledge that I have tapped into yet. Enough about me. That's just to say that I am so excited for you, because you have said that you're going to make me be another well to store info, and I want that to be passed along, because I'm really curious, and I think on a larger scale, learning more about like specifically equine also just helps you engage more with other animals too. Like just how I feel like my dog training has helped me with our relationship with the equine and whatnot. I think it all just helps build on that knowledge together, which does make me wonder, does he have dogs that he brought with him? Because he's traveling like all the time.
Yeah, it's actually crazy to think of his life. For the past, I think he's been doing clinics for, I forget if it's 15 or 13 years, but something more than 10 years. And he has 2 daughters, and up until this year, basically, he had a semi that was his family's home, like on the road with his mules. They still have a house in Utah as well, but that they were almost full time, like traveling on the road. And he just recently changed his setup so that now he has, it's still a beautiful trailer. Sean and I were looking at it. We felt so lucky. We were parked by him, and we're like, oh my gosh, first of all, we're right next to a celebrity. We're sleeping in bed, and he's like over there. It's crazy. It's so embarrassing if he were to ever hear this. But we're like looking at his trailer, because it's clearly he needs a lot more functional than we need ours. But even for us, we're trying to like maximize our use of
a glamping setup.
Yeah, definitely. His, of course, people might be like, duh, but he has heating and AC in it, and a beautiful big hay rack on top of it, and like it's a full setup. I was like, I would clearly never ask this of him, but I would love to see in it so badly, just to know, because for the inspo, not even of like,
when
oh
you
my
guys
gosh,
are
where
more homey level, you will.
Yeah, well, like I don't need to know like any of the personal stuff, but just for the setup, I would love to know, like, he's clearly, with who he is, I know that he has a system in his personal life as well. So
that would be a good recommendation for his YouTube, because he does YouTube videos, and he likes to talk about stuff that's helpful for people. Like when Quinn and I just listened to a podcast of like how to be successful on the road, and he talked about, planning with
what
an
to bring with
extra
you.
2
Yeah.
tires and that sort of thing. And I feel like a setup video is very helpful, that, like you said, if he's less comfortable with like his living quarters being as much of a part of it, at least for the equine end of things, or even like how he packs his food and stuff is it's all very interesting and helpful, especially when you're someone that you're stepping into it where it's not what you grew up doing. And I've felt that way with us also getting a little more interested in hunting as a means to eat more sustainably and spend more time in nature. But it's always a hard starting ground to be at square zero, but it's also a good place to begin and just acknowledge I am a complete beginner. I'm not saying that's where you are with your equine, but just in terms of things when I don't know. I feel like we're both at places in our lives where I am completely comfortable with acknowledging all that I don't know. Yeah. And I'm very curious and an avid learner and open for that information.
I know. I'm so excited, Riley, to teach you more. Obviously, this isn't the podcast episode to be conveying like most of our knowledge we gained from it, but more so to focus on, like we talked about last year when I went to a tattooing workshop and traveled to that. Also with my mom and sister. Do you see a trend? We're
the tag-alongs.
It's so valuable. Like anything that someone is interested in life, I would just encourage so seriously to go pursue an education in that. And it does not need to be college. It could be a weekend, a day, going to, like we've talked about, going to
a class,
a ceramics class, going to like Riley, her bouquet building class, something like knowledge is so empowering and and so inspiring and so exciting. And so it brings, of course, it's not just this, but joy. It brings so much joy to like the satisfaction. And there can be dips. Like I will say on my third day, it was so helpful because people from the stands and people in my class were like, oh my gosh, Quinn. After class, they were like, you and Ghost, it's crazy. Like your improvement over these 3 days, even though to me on the third day, I was having a little bit of a hard time getting in my head because then I was more empowered with the knowledge of what it should be and should quote unquote look like, that I was a little just like, oh, I am not communicating it well enough for this to happen how I want. And now I know how it should look and I'm not getting there. So, of course, it's not just like, oh, yay, joy. Oh, having more knowledge can also make you realize how little you know. But there are so many of those moments in there of the gratification of like, I put effort in. I tried something. I put myself out there in a way. Even, I would say in these past couple of weeks, the thing I was way more nervous about was my tattoo guest spot. I have struggled with anxiety for as long as I can remember, and that was one of those days that leading up to walking into the shop, I was just feeling so overwhelmed with anxiety and was like, why did I do this? Like, I could have just come on this New York trip just for fun and not challenged myself in this way. But I knew stepping in there, I knew like once I crossed the threshold and was within the space, like, what is the worst that could happen to me there? I knew it would be okay. I did it,
like,
and
what's
I proved...
the worst that could happen? Has a full-blown panic attack. Cannot
yeah,
go forward with the day.
Actually, like, just a debilitating migraine to the point that I'm throwing up in the bathroom. Those things didn't happen. And I seriously did feel walking out the doors at the end of the night like, I am so proud of myself. That might seem like a little thing to some people, but to me, like, I really, really felt like I had to put myself out there, and it felt so nerve-wracking. And I did it. And that is so good for your confidence and for your self-worth to be like, I can do any hard thing I put my mind to.
It's
So for
definitely,
even literally your bouquet building class, you're going there. It's your first time and you don't know who's going to be there and you don't know the scene, and it's introducing yourself to a whole new group of people. It's brave, and I'm just proud of that.
yeah. And I also think that action is always going to like get you out of your head more, because if you think about what, like, use a scenario for example, you have a dream, a goal that you want to write a children's book, and you know you want to do that, but you're just like have that idea in your head and you're not doing anything to forward it. You don't have to immediately like make a storyboard, come up with a concept. But if you take the action of, I'm taking this, like my local studio has an illustration class that I'm gonna go to, and you do that, that's like action towards something. Or, you know, there's a writing group that I'm gonna sign up for that we meet once a month and we share writing with each other. Having those things that you do, it's at least like creating momentum, and that's just, I think, a better place to operate from than the anxiety place of just like letting things build up that are these desires and ambitions you have for yourself, but not letting yourself like come to fruition by stepping into those things. And especially when you know that being a beginner, things are gonna be choppy and messy and probably not your best work of all time. Might as well start now, no time like the present.
Yeah.
So then you can look back in a couple years and be like, wow, I'm so much more refined now. Maybe now I'm actually like, I have not only the desire, but now I feel like I have the skill to complete that goal. And I'm just proud of you guys for doing that, and it's a satisfying feeling. It also, I think, knowledge really, I was gonna say knowledge combats anxiety, but sometimes that's really not the case, because anxiety can come from such a different place. But at least for me, that particular type of anxiety that is to do with like high stakes things like safety when you're interacting with equine and when you're trailering and doing those activities, I want to know as much as I can going into it, because safety of myself and others and animals is all in the mix. So it's really that extra motivation to get expert advice and insight.
It's the community you gain too. All the people that were there, they all have a common goal in mind. They're all trying to improve themselves. Like, it was so cool for Sean and I to get to meet all these different people that were, first of all, so kind and reassuring, that were like, again, saying to me when I had felt a little hard on myself that day, coming down from the bleachers and being like, oh my gosh, you and Ghost, like, look at your improvement over 3 days. Just such thoughtful people that they also understand. Like, they understand what it feels like when they knew it's like, this is my first clinic. This is my this is such a first for me. I feel it is vulnerable to put yourself out there and know you have to. Your pride is going to be put aside. If it's not, then you're not going to gain anything from the class. So either put your pride aside and be brave and be vulnerable, or what's the point in being there?
It's also not a showcase. It's like, this is the place for learning. This isn't to show how baller you are with your horse. Like, it's kind of nice, I think, to be in those situations, because obviously I love rodeo and things like that, but I think that can be like a more gatekeepy place, because people are like, it's competition vibes instead of it being learning in that element of the activity sport. I don't know, I was gonna say sport, but I don't even really think of like your relationship with your equine as a sport. But
yeah, I'm just feeling so, like, it makes me feel so motivated, and that is such a good feeling in life. I love to feel like with all I have on my plate, I damn well better feel motivated, because if I didn't feel motivated, then I can tell you, with all of the things on my daily to-do list, they wouldn't be getting done if there was no degree of motivation. And I know you can't just live off motivation, but it's great. And you have to live off discipline, but it is helpful to do something that brings back up that level of motivation that feels like, okay, I am going to ride that high and ride this like excitement and motivation to get me through to when I do have to pull from the discipline battery pack, like that clearly is such a big part of my life too, is just not the feeling of, oh my gosh, this is just so fun and so exciting today. There are times that it's like, no, today when it's actually freezing cold and it's dark and I didn't get enough sleep and all of the situations that come up, there are times where the motivation isn't there and you just have to do it because you have to do it. But I seriously, like, if I could gain anything to tell you or anyone else in my life that I care about right now, it would be like, find something like that. And it doesn't have to be an equivalent. It doesn't have to be you travel a full day and spend that much or whatever, but do something like that you're putting yourself out there and improving and learning, because I just really think it's such a quality of life enhancer to feel like I put myself in the position of new community, finding community, becoming educated, literally just getting better at something. It's so satisfying because it's something tangible that you make progress in, that you get to see. And
I'm like, I guess I have to pull from the discipline battery pack this time to do a different sort of apple pastry.
Yeah. Which, pull from your discipline battery pack when you're here with me on Thanksgiving making all the baked goods, because that is where my discipline battery can get a little bit drained with being as consistent with such special, fun, unique bakes like what Riley will do. But I have my discipline battery on lock for sourdough, so at least there's that.
Oh yeah. Not to diverge from horses yet again, but for sourdough, I did recently this week, tried to add more whole wheat flour than the recipe called for to see, like, can I get it a little wheatier? Because that doesn't rise the best. For those that don't know, use bread flour with your wheat flour, because otherwise it's really hard to have a successful sourdough loaf. And it was denser than than with the white flour, that's for sure. But I had a feeling it would be. The recipe book did caution me to be careful with wheat flour, but I wanted to try. I was thinking about your little freaking goat and his little wiggly tail. You probably really would have liked this bread. That's a great thing with animals when you need to pawn a little bit off. I don't know if you even are allowed to feed a goat gluten, so nobody come after me, but they're pretty much known for being good garbage disposals.
Yeah, my mom was saying they are talked about for, they'll eat anything, but why are there still so many thistles in his pasture area? I'm like, yeah.
He's like, 'cause I get
they're not they're not so down for anything. That some, I'm sure different types of goats and goats with different upbringings and whatever are more so that way some than others. Like, he never tries to eat my clothes off my back, which I really appreciate. But
our grandparents' goats used to always nibble on our hat brims or the ends of our braids.
Oh, totally. They would slobber on the ends of our braids, which is so funny. But my parents came and watched the homestead and made it happen for us to be able to do this. And my mom did say that at the end of the week, probably at the start of the week, but that she agreed that Alvin, the goat, is the best and easiest and golden child of the homestead. Easiest
Surprise,
animal award.
Who was the hardest? Take
Does
all
it
the time you
start
need
with
to guess.
DOG? Yeah. So anyway,
I was like, I'm sorry if you're slightly miserable, mom and dad, but at the same time, I think that everyone should have a taste of that medicine so they know what Quinn and Sean are up against. And I'm like, and that was minus the equine.
Exactly. It is. I won't even lie, it does feel good on the ego to hear my mom say, like, how do you guys get anything done in a day other than caring for your animals? It does really fill that spot in my heart of thank you.
Like,
it's not just me that feels like this. Like, it's a lot, but it made me, so being there, several people did bring their dogs, and I was like, well, it's a good thing we didn't bring ours, but at the same time, it's cool to know what we could look forward to that is, like, people had their dogs. Oh, Rye, there was a yellow lab named Tex that was only 2 years old, and he was so cute and pretty and wiggly and such our buddy, so every morning, his mom was stalled her mule right next to ours, and so every morning with Tex I was like, you squishy good boy. But anyway, I'm going to give a quick wrap-up summary of the notes I just want to check off about the clinic. First of all,
okay, before you do that, let me just make a final request. Will you share us one fun fact you learned about mules, if you have one to share?
Yes. One fun fact that I will share that I think is just important for people to hear is debunking the myth of, maybe I should first say, going back, let me first say, if you don't know what a mule is the offspring of a donkey and a horse, but not just any donkey-horse combination. It is a jack donkey, that's a boy, with a female horse, a mare. So that is the combination that makes a mule. It's the offspring. So just because
why couldn't it be I didn't know that a male horse and a female donkey, they just won't copulate, or
no, so they will make what's called a hinny, and people just, when you breed for it's basically the optimum, I'm forgetting in this moment. It's the best breed characteristics out of both the horse and the donkey come from that specific combination. On the other hand, some people are like, oh, hinnies are just useless, and I don't know because I really have never spent time around a hinny, but it is just the best of both breeds comes from the male donkey and the female horse. So that's why. And mules, the reason people like mules is literally that they take the best traits typically from both parents. There's a word for it. There's a phrase for what it is, but it's literally the best. I know. I can't even remember the word today when we're recording a podcast. Anywho, so that's why people have mules, is because they have, what people say is they have the sure-footedness of a donkey and the athleticism more so of a horse, whatever. So, something that people say, here's back to my fun fact. People about donkeys all the time say how stubborn they are. They always call them stubborn and hard-headed, and that they aren't trainable or anything like that. And I really appreciated hearing from Ty, him debunking. He does not believe in that. He does not like when people call mules or donkeys stubborn. It is just that they operate differently. They are actually very critical thinkers, and they take more time. Yeah, they take more time. How he said about it was basically, here's the comparison. If you ask a horse and ask a donkey, what's 2 + 2? A horse is going to immediately put its hand up and be like, 3. And then they're like, no, it's not 3. And then they immediately are like, 5. And no, it's not 5. And the donkey takes several more beats and then is like, 4. And they get it right the first time. So anyway, that's just a little bit of an analogy. It's not a perfect one, but donkeys take more time to consider their options before acting, and I'm just so glad to have a professional in that world be putting that out there and debunking, because I tell you, every single time I tell someone that I have a donkey, they're first of all like, oh my gosh, that's so cool, they're so cute. And then it's so often brought up that it's like, oh, but they're just so stubborn or whatever. And even with horse people, whether it's horse people or not horse people, I just hear it all the time. And I'm so glad to have him be shedding the light that no, they just operate differently. They take longer. That's literally all it is it's just a slowed down decision-making process. And on top of that, fun fact.
I was gonna
Wait,
just say I
what'd you
want to
say?
say the same thing about a hound dog, but I'm like, it's not really a long time to make the decision. They're like, oh, I have decided I will not be moving from this place, and it's just not up for negotiation.
Yeah. But people think that that type of thing with a donkey, that like, oh, 'cause you can't get them to move, that they're stubborn. But that's really putting all the blame. Ty is big into extreme ownership and not putting the blame on my animal won't do this, my donkey is this way. He just does not buy the labels of that you have a bad horse or a stubborn donkey or anything like that. So all of that, I just resonate with him as a teacher so much for how he thinks about that type of stuff. And one more little fun fact that's kind of adding on is that equine don't have the same frontal lobe that we have. So they still have one, but it's much smaller, and they do not have the capacity for feelings like disrespect or vengeance or like getting you back. So he multiple times brought that up, and just as a reminder of like, never any of these actions we're doing is it like to prove something to them or to seek revenge. They never ever, they are incapable of seeking revenge. They are incapable of doing something to annoy you or to disrespect you. And it used to be such a thing in the horse world to say like, they need to respect you as a leader. They don't have the capacity to respect nor disrespect. So let that go as a thought.
It's, I think, often just the personification that we do to project onto the world around us, just like it's not raining outside because the world hates you, it's just raining. Like, that's, I think, often we come from an emotional place, so then we project it onto other things, and it's just like people that their dog has an accident and they get furious at them and say how naughty they are and shove their face in their accident. It's like, the dog wasn't doing that to get back at you. They don't operate like that. Animals are very special in the sense that I feel like their motivations are not coming from that place. That can be hard to... When I say animals, obviously I'm separating like non-human animals, because humans with our different brains act with really different motivations. But Definitely. That is a fun fact about their frontal lobes. I bet it would be so interesting to learn more about the neuroscience of equine.
I know, right? I'm going to have to give you assigned reading that we learned about for that Ty highly recommends. He's a big reader. He is a self-proclaimed nerd. Anyway, I'm just excited. There's so much for us to learn. But yeah, they don't operate like that. And I really appreciate the extreme ownership principle that he talked about, that he didn't come up with, that someone else did. But it's basically any situation that you can think of, you can take accountability for what happened. I
feel like sorry, I'm interrupting, but I feel like I learned that with training Roger with Sailor Jerri. Again, we'll shout her out. When I came and was like, he is having these behaviors, she was like, he's not doing anything that dogs don't do, but you need to look at yourself.
What are you doing? Exactly. Like if I was like, Ghost kicked me because Ghost did this thing. Ghost is a bad horse. Ghost, whatever. Ghost kicked me because of something I did. I can tell you that much for sure. He's not kicking me because he finds joy in that activity. That's for certain. But anyway, so basically we had such a special week, and I just wanted to round it out by saying I'm so grateful because Sean, my husband, came with me and was a part of all of this, and it did make a big difference that I felt like I had a teammate going into it. You know, I surely would have done it on my own as well, but it was so fun getting to have him, and also so helpful for the safety as well with us traveling on the road. We did drive like 9 hours each way, a little longer with breaks and stuff, but
through the night, mind you.
yeah, well, I was gonna say, so day one we went through the day and then we got there late at night, but you know, that's all good and all fine and well, and that just sometimes happens is when you have equine that you're trying to get on the road, things get later than you wanted to. But then we just had such a great time. We had so much fun with our little like kitchen setup in our trailer that we've made, and just cooking for ourselves, and we had a potluck with everyone at the clinic, and that was all great. Just
That's
so many
cute.
great things. And then the night that we were leaving, it ended up, we did not intend it, but the campsite that we were hoping to go, that still, it was late at night when we got there, like past 1, but we got there and we couldn't find this information online, and then on the sign it says gates lock at dusk. Unfortunately, we had to make the decision to just continue and push all the way through. So Sean was so brave. He did not have me drive for any of it, even though I offered, and he trailered our animals all the way back home. And we got back home at 6:30 in the morning. You know, sometimes.
And then the day starts.
Yeah, sometimes things don't go exactly as you planned or how you wanted, but it was just such a special time that I'm so grateful for. So folks, get out there and learn something new and put yourself in a new environment that challenges you, and you will thank yourself for it.
Yeah, 100%. Thanks for sharing about your time with us. Did you have, for one last question, did you have a favorite little camping bite that you cooked up?
Oh, yes. I would say that my favorite camping bite was made on our new Blackstone that I gave Sean for his birthday. So if you don't know, it's just like a flat grill, and on the side it has what is it called that has a flame that
Like, does
makes
that
water
burners?
boil? A burner, yes. So there's a set of burners on the side and then
Fire?
a big grill. Yeah, fire. So we got this Blackstone that Sean is. We're both stoked, but Sean is beyond stoked about it. So we made some steak and veggie tacos that we had during our last day there when we were auditing the class, because we did it is a lot to fit in a day, honestly, to like have your first clinic and then do the things you need to do to then be ready for the next clinic in an hour. So we did have to bring them over to our station on the bleachers where we were auditing, but oh, they were delicious. The steak was cooked and seasoned so well, and just yummy tacos. So yeah, that's my favorite.
Yummy, Thanks for sharing that with us. I hope that everyone else has the passion to and motivation now to go out and learn something, maybe sign up for a class, maybe see what's going on at your local library. There's often free and affordable programs going on there, because I know I'm feeling excited to just keep pursuing learning, and importantly, like Quinn said, community. It's better with others, and we are going to talk to you very soon.
Yeah, talk to you next
Goodbye.
Tuesday. Thanks so much. Bye.